Okay.
All right, we're live. All right.
Welcome to our 30th episode.
Oh, it's been 30 episodes.
Yes.
Holy, wow. We've been at it for a little bit.
Yeah. Our 1 year anniversary is coming up on August 6th.
Shit.
Yeah.
Wow, didn't realize it's been that long.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Wow.
So.
All right, so we're going to talk about the movies we've seen so far.
Mm-hmm.
What movies have you seen?
I've seen a lot.
I believe it. I've seen a chunk, I would say.
Yeah.
Like a decent chunk.
Yesterday I just went to see Mission Impossible.
Okay, how was that one?
It was good. I enjoyed it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I think this is like the second to last one that Tom Cruise is going to do.
Yeah.
So they're making a big deal out of it. I heard like the cinematography is really good.
Yeah.
Like just the camera work as well as I think the score is like it's still top notch.
Yeah.
And of course, if I remember correctly, the first day of shooting, they did the bicycle off the cliff stunt. Which I'm looking at that going, oh, no, don't, you ain't gonna have me do that.
So, yeah, I saw Mission Impossible. I saw Indiana Jones.
Nice.
That one was good.
Ooh. Nice. Okay. Yeah, I've heard things about Indiana Jones, so I'm like, I don't know. But hey, everyone enjoys their own thing, right?
Yeah.
Alright. So, what else have you seen?
God, if I go into like absolutely everything, we're gonna be here all day.
Okay. Well, I was watching the Rocky movies.
Okay.
I got into Rocky 1, which I thought was great piece of cinema.
Mm-hmm.
Bella, what are you barking at? You're barking at nothing, ain't you? Or is it her treat that's...
It's her treat.
Well, I saw Rocky 1, great movie. The cinematography, the directing. Sylvester Stallone is his breakout movie. He actually banged that script out in like 3 days' time, which is amazing.
Wow.
And he did this also he could have enough money to get his dog back. Which I'm looking at that thinking that's phenomenal. That's perfect. You know, I think that's, absolutely great. What else? And then after that, I was watching Rocky 2, which is a continuation of the first movie, where Apollo Creed, in the first movie, he goes against Rocky, and Rocky sees it as a fight. Apollo Creed just sees it as like an exhibition, and doesn't take it seriously until like a couple rounds in.
Yeah. I listened to the commentary track for Talladega Nights.
Yeah.
That Will Ferrell like NASCAR movie.
Yeah, I know that one.
Yeah. It was really disappointing.
Oof.
Because hold on.
What made it so disappointing? Do you got to take the cone off or something like that? There you go. Oh, flipped over.
Yeah. Because throughout the entire thing,
what were they talking about throughout it?
They weren't really talking about the movie. They were talking about, like, first of all, they were just, like, making shit up throughout the entire thing, which was annoying.
Oh, dang.
Talking about and it's like they tried. It was like they were trying to be funny about it, but they mostly just ended up coming off as like pretentious dicks.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, it really rubbed me the wrong way. Right?
Wow.
And then they're like, I don't even know how I would like phrase this, but like the right word to use to describe this, but it's like they started like exaggerating something.
Oh boy.
Like being like, oh yeah, this movie cost like $400 million to make, and it changed a lot of lives, and oh my god, I hated it. Right?
Honestly, I don't do commentary tracks. That's why I just think, let me just watch the movie. It's what I paid money for.
Yeah. Commentary tracks, like when they're good, like they can be great.
Mm-hmm.
Like for instance, Jon Favreau's commentary track for Iron Man 2 was fantastic.
Really? What did you talk about there for that one? Like stuff that they did for the movies, like, okay, we used a little bit of lighting, special effects here for that.
Yes. And gave a lot of like really interesting insights into like what went on behind the scenes of the movie. He talked about how Mickey Rourke had like complete creative control over his character.
Oh, nice.
And that at one point like he was like in charge of his wardrobe, and he was just like, I want to be in my underwear. Yeah.
That does sound like Mickey Rourke.
Yeah.
That sounds like him.
Yeah. And there was at one point going to be a scene in the prison scene where Mickey Rourke was going to be like doing like jump ropes and chains, and it was going to create like sparks.
Shit.
That was where Jon Favreau kind of drew the line and be like, no, that's a bit much.
Yeah, it's like, I'm going to do jump rope and chains. Do you have any idea how heavy that shit's going to be? Yeah, I like that. You know, a director is like, listen, we'll go along with some things, but there are some lines, we're not doing that.
Yeah. He also talked about how, like, Elon Musk helped provide some of the sets for the movie.
Oh, and, like the garage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the brunch scene in Morocco was actually filmed in his house.
Ha! Nice.
Yeah.
That is fantastic.
Yeah. Apparently, Jon Favreau was actually friends with Elon Musk.
Yeah.
So,
which I didn't even know that. That's like, wow, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah. And also, another interesting aspect was that Jon Favreau loved shows like Samurai Jack and the Clone Wars, that he actually called up Genndy Tartakovsky and Brian Andrews and actually had them help create some of the sets for the movie. Like,
Ooh.
the entire like Stark Expo thing, that was all Gendy Tartakovsky.
That is good. That is really good.
Yeah. Yeah. That Japanese like dome thing too.
Yeah. Yeah. The biome.
Yeah, that was him too.
Oh, that is so cool.
Yeah.
That is so cool. This is after War Machine has been introduced, and Tony Stark shows up in his new and improved suit.
Yeah. And I
watched the Rocky movies. I saw Rocky 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Okay, but you haven't watched Creed.
I watched a bit of Creed, and ultimately, I will say I did watch Creed, but I wasn't invested in that one as I was with Rocky.
Yeah.
With Rocky, I felt like there's that connection where you're down in the dumps and you're getting yourself up. I felt with Creed that it was trying to be like Rocky, but black, and it didn't quite work for me.
Yeah.
Like, I could even tell when between the main fights in the first Rocky movie, you could see when Carl Weathers and Sylvester Stallone, when they weren't just, acting boxing, they were actually like going at each other, like just nailing each other. Whereas in Creed, you could tell the whole thing was just when it was boxing and it was scripted, and when there was makeup being applied.
Yeah.
Like, Sylvester Stallone actually had his eyes swell up, and he told him, like, cut it so that I can see. Because the blood was, like, all over is causing his eyelid to swell shut, so he was like this, he couldn't see out of his right eye, so he asked them to cut it so he could see. And with Creed, I could tell when he was wearing a makeup to cover up his eye. It's like, dude, come on. I think she's stuck a little bit. Yeah, she has to wear the cone of shame.
Yeah.
She is not happy. As anyone can tell, she is like, I am not happy about this. I am mad about this.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, with Creed, I can see when they slapped a prosthetic over Michael B. Jordan's eye. Like, it took literally until Creed 3 for him to actually take a punch.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Sylvester Stallone said, we got to have a sense of realism to these things, so we're actually going to box. You're actually going to hit me.
Oh.
And you could tell, like, when, tempers were flying and when it was actually boxing and there was no punches being pulled. So the fact that it took Michael B. Jordan...
Literally.
Yeah. It took Michael B. Jordan 3 whole movies to actually take a punch because he said, I'm part of the Rocky family, and Sylvester Stallone said, no, you're not. What do you mean I'm not? You haven't taken a punch, kid. The whole 3 movies we're doing, and you haven't taken a single punch. All right, fine, I'll take 1 punch. We'll consider that you being in the family, okay? But you got to take an actual punch, okay? Boom! Like, they had Jonathan Majors or someone, maybe Jonathan Majors' stunt double, nail Michael B. Jordan, like, across the face, like, right here. Like, right there. And Michael B. Jordan was like, boom! He's stumbling back up, kind of dazed, like, holy shit. Like, yeah, that's an actual punch, dude. So, between the 4 Rocky movies that I've seen, because I haven't seen 5 yet, but I heard it's the worst one. 6.
So you haven't watched Rocky Balboa?
No, I have not watched Rocky Balboa. I want to watch that one next. Because they're on Amazon Prime for free, and I said, fuck it, let's watch Rocky. Rocky 5 is supposedly the worst one, which I'm like, oof, it's not good. But I enjoyed Rocky 1 for establishing the whole genre, the whole series. Rocky 2 definitely felt much more, I was more a little bit more emotionally invested in Rocky because he was having to deal with all this stuff where, medical complications were telling him he cannot go into the boxing ring again. And he's being challenged by Apollo Creed and called a chicken over and over again. So, what he does, it's very satisfying when for him to go in the whole fight. He's taking hits from Apollo. It isn't until the final round where Rocky actually starts just beating up Carl Weathers' Apollo Creed. And I enjoy that movie so much, the payoff. Rocky 3 was when the series, though, changed. Instead of it being like 2.5 hours long, it went for 90 minutes and just focused on the boxing and the sports. Like, all the drama was taken out, so it was just a sports movie. Rocky 3 was the one that changed that. So, with the Rocky 3 actually had had a cameo from a WWF wrestler.
Oh.
Yeah. Rocky 3, for a charity match, Rocky went up against Thunder Lips, played by Hulk Hogan, the wrestler. Which I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then, of course, Mr. T comes in and is like, I want a shot at the belt. I'm a contender. And, of course, Rocky 3 had the famous song, Eye of the Tiger, which was great. It was a great movie that I thought the cinematography was decent. It was all right. The music was pretty good, but the training montage where Rocky confronts like the fact that he's afraid because in Rocky 3, his trainer Mickey dies from a heart attack. So he has to confront being afraid and get out of the shadow of fear so he can actually train for his rematch against Mr. T's Clubber Lang. And honestly, I would have to say that one is probably one of my favorite Rocky movie. But I had to watch the first two. Rocky 4 I thought it was fun. To see, Dolph Lundgren. It was actually his very first movie over here in America that he acted in. And behind the scenes, Dolph Lundgren, he could take a punch from Carl Weathers, but just one punch from Dolph, had Carl Weathers absolutely mad. Like, what the fuck, man? We're not supposed to go hard, because he didn't know his own strength. He was training like he was actually ready to box, and then he's going up against Carl Weathers, and he's just boom, got an arm like a cannon. It was nuts. Well, let's see. What other movies did I watch? I don't think I watched a whole lot of other movies. The most recent one, though, that I did see a couple days ago, I was telling you about, it's The Sound of Freedom.
How was that?
It's really, really dark. It's depressing, but hopeful, and it's an emotional roller coaster. There's no other way to describe it. Yeah. The acting is done very, very well. Pacing is just a hair wonky because you think that it's all done and over with until they say, no, we got to go somewhere else because, well, the movie is actually based off of a real-life event where Jim Caviezel, the main actor, plays this guy called Tim Ballard. He's the guy that actually founded this organization called Operation Underground Railroad. It is an organization meant to conduct sting operations on child sex traffickers. And they do this in real life. And one of the things that they did was this whole organization was brought about because of an operation done in Colombia, off the coast, on an island, where there was this sex party with adults and underage kids. And this sting operation was him working with the Colombia police force, and what was the result of, they got the traffickers, arrested them, sent them to jail, and they saved and rescued 54 kids. And that was before Operation Underground Railroad became a thing. It was such... And every point after that is a little bit more fictionalized. You can tell when the movie... after the sting on the island, that's when historical accuracy gets thrown out because it becomes more fictionalized.
Yeah.
But it's meant to drive home the point that this thing is, it's not a pretty industry. It's actually a very evil one, and it's it's an industry that it's $150 billion every year gets funneled into it, and the largest consumer of child sex trafficking is actually the United States.
Yeah.
It's so when I say it's a very dark and depressing movie, I mean it because I was in the theater and I cried. I cried several times. Like, this is a movie that I recommend to people, but I tell them you're going to want to bring Kleenex, and you're going to want to make sure that when you go in, you've got to be prepared to put two and two together on certain things that happen. They don't show you the bad stuff that happens, like pedophilia or child or statutory rape again on a minor. They don't show that to you, thankfully. But your brain pretty much puts two and two together and says, "Oh, shit, this has happened," and it's done well. And the fact that it's actually still making money, it's well on its way to certainly get $100 million.
Yeah. I've heard this movie is actually quite controversial, of course.
I didn't pay attention to the controversy. I just went in to look at the movie and see what the fuss was about. And I walked away with the message that, hey, we have this thing going on that we really need to pay attention to. And I took away from that as, we need to pay attention to this thing. I was moved to tears because the main actor, Jim Caviezel, is very much against trafficking of children. And he's got 3 kids that he has adopted that are victims of the trafficking network. Yeah. And he did this movie simply because he believes it's not right, that it needs to be stopped. And I've seen a number of articles saying, trying to draw attention to a QAnon conspiracy. I never got any of that. I never did. Like, whatever politics are in there, which, by the way, I've seen none of.
If you support this movie, then you support QAnon. Like, what?
It's something that it doesn't make sense to me because it's so far out of left field that
that's like saying that if you watch Schindler's List, then you support the Holocaust.
Which is funny enough that Jim Caviezel was actually talking about that, saying, Schindler's List, when it was made, everybody knew, like, the Holocaust was a bad thing.
Yeah.
But it's over and done with. Whereas this one, the child sex industry is still going on. It's still going on to this day. And the gimmick that this movie has that has made it so well known and has skyrocketed it to still making a profit today is just one simple thing: paying it forward. You can literally go onto angel.com/freedom and you can pay for a person for their ticket to go see the movie, which I thought, wow, that's nuts. Yeah. So that you don't even have to worry about if money is a problem. You can literally just say, you can get a ticket for free.
Yeah. Yeah, and of course people are being like, oh, this is like some kind of a scheme or something.
Scheme? It's based on a real life event.
I meant like the ticket thing.
Oh, the ticket thing.
Yeah.
Ticket thing. Okay. Maybe yes, maybe no, but every little bit is that it's meant to draw attention to say we got something to do. We got some work that needs to be done. Hey, Chesker's on. Hey. United States is the largest consumer of child porn. How is that for depressing? It's it's very depressing.
Yeah.
Like in the months and even in the years leading up to it, actually recently in the 5 years time, child porn has exploded both in viewed consumption as well as trading, 5,500%. It's depressing. Like, I went into this knowing I was going to be depressed and feel sorry for myself and be like, how could I ignore this? And I walked away, and I had to sit in my car. Okay, when I got out of this movie, it was 9:30 at night. I sat in my car, and I was crying. I was crying, full blown crying, like tears coming down my face, and even talking with my girlfriend. Yeah, I'm not joking, man. I'm not joking. I was like, holy shit, it's scary. But I want to get us away from this because I don't want to focus on this movie the whole time.
Yeah.
Because then we're going to be in our fields. Then we're going to be like, oh, shit. But, yeah, if you want to go see the movie, I recommend seeing it. But be prepared. You're going to see some stuff that's going to make you a little uncomfortable. Heck, there were people leaving the theater because they got so uncomfortable. But if you sit through the whole thing, bring a Kleenex. You're going to need a whole pack. All right.
Yeah, also I think it's kind of important to move on because then we're going to start delving into politics. And
yes, and I am not a fan of politics. Like, my views are my views. If we want to talk about it, we got to keep it civil. But right now we're here to talk about movies.
Yeah.
Let's see. What's another movie that I saw? Actually, you know what? Why don't I count? Do you want to count trailers?
I guess.
Because that Blue Beetle trailer looks really good. Yeah. It looks really good. Like, I think the whole... What do we think the theme of it is? Family. Nothing beats family. Next thing you know, Vin Diesel's going to show up in his Charger like, Uncle Tom! Nothing beats family. I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting for that in this movie. Because the costume, literally, they brought in the costume, the actual costume from the movie, and they put it inside a cinema over in California.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was like, holy shit. And it looks good. I for one, I like the costume because it's accurate. It's accurate to the comics. Yeah. But I'm also very much excited for the reboot to DC.
Yes.
Which I guess the Flash served as a sort of reboot, but reset button.
Yeah. I don't think the Flash movie is nearly as bad as most people were saying it is. Honestly.
It probably isn't, but it's just it hasn't been on top of my list of stuff to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, like when it comes to the Flash movie, like, it's getting to a point where it feels more like people are bullying the movie rather than, like, criticizing it respectfully.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing that I have a problem with.
Here's what I'll do to critique it respectfully. I'm not a fan of Ezra Miller.
Yeah.
Which I'm told, I'm not sure if he's like the weakest part of it. But I'm not sure. I just know about some of the stuff he's done.
Yeah.
But I was excited to see Michael Keaton come back as Batman.
But to say that the movie, like, it's one of those things where people are like, oh, this movie sucked, so I'm glad it failed.
I mean, yeah, I can kind of see that, but at that same time, it's like
that's kind of extreme.
Yes. However, but this does open the door with the serving as a reset and a reboot. That, who knows? I've seen a number of people actually petition and ask for Grant Gustin to play the new Flash, and I'll be honest, if you could get him in the suit again, that'd be fantastic. Like, he was really, really good.
They wanted to put him in the movie, but apparently there was no room for him. So,
oh, come on! After the events of this new Flashpoint movie, you could pretty much have to say it's like Barry Allen wakes up and then it's Grant Gustin. It's like, what the hell am I doing here?
Yeah. the whole thing about there being no room for him, like, it's bullshit.
Yeah,
Like-
it is.
They could have easily made him the second Flash.
Pretty much. Pretty much. Like, as soon as Ezra Miller's Barry Allen is gone, I mean, shoot, they even worked him in as a tie-in in the Flash series.
Yeah.
With Ezra Miller and Grant Gustin.
Yeah,
So I'm like, you could do it, you just don't want to.
right,
There's a difference.
right.
Now, speaking of cameos and all that they could have done,
Yeah.
Across the Spider-Verse, Part 1. This movie was fun.
Yeah.
So much fun. Like, I'm trying to find, like, some of the fun parts. I would honestly have to say Andy Samberg as Scarlet Spider, Ben Reilly,
Yeah.
just emo and depressed. That was funny. That was funny to me.
The movie did go on for a bit too long.
Yeah, there were points in it that I felt like it sagged a little bit.
Yeah. At least 3 times I thought the movie was over. Like,
Okay, I can see that. I will be honest. I thought the movie was going to be done and over with when Miles got back to the universe, but I noticed, if I remember correctly, his universe was Earth 1610, whereas he got sent to Earth 42.
yeah.
So, like, oh.
Yeah. Which, looking back at like Into the Spider-Verse, the number 42 is teased a lot.
It is. It really is.
Yeah. So I don't know if they were like, this is something they were planning like from the beginning.
I don't know, but I do like the fact that they worked in the guy that got hit with a bagel as the spot. I'm like, that's fucking great.
Yeah.
Because it shows, like, you got to pay attention to this small detail. And even one of the things that I saw, like, remember from Into the Spider-Verse, when Miles' colors initially were purple and green, when his Spidey sense and Peter's Spidey sense were going off, Peter B. Parker's Spidey sense, shows red and blue, and eventually Miles' colors turned from purple and green to red and blue.
Oh.
I was like, oh. And they make a big reference to it where you see Miles from Earth 42 becomes the Prowler, and Aaron's still alive, but
there's no Spider-Man.
There's no Spider-Man, but there's also no Captain Davis.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, shit, man, that sucks.
Yeah.
But here's the thing that's got me thinking a little bit of a, like, bear with me on this thing. I don't think in Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 2, which I guess is Beyond the Spider-Verse or something like that, I don't think Miles' dad is going to die.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to, because they say a Spider-Man has to lose. They get close to a captain, the captain ends up dying.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, that spider was from Earth 42. No Spider-Man, but also Captain Davis is already dead.
Yeah.
So I think in the Beyond the Spider-Verse, I'm pretty sure, like, the anomaly is going to be that he saves his dad.
Yeah. Also, Gwen's father turned down being captain and lived.
Right.
So.
Which you could honestly say is also another indication of, yeah, Spider-Man loses a captain, but in this case, the captain's still alive and breathing. He just said, I'm quitting.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, good. Gwen needs her dad.
Yeah. And then there's like this whole debate of who's is Miles right? Is Miguel right? Are both of them right? Like,
I think both of them are right, but Miguel has gone to such an extreme that he needs to tone it down a little bit. However, you remember in Across the Spider-Verse where you see initially in the background, you think Captain Stacy, George has his gun, he's getting it up to point it at his daughter, and it's actually the radio, and she webs it up and nails the Penguin, and he says, "You want to go easy on the Penguin?" It's a reference. it's a reference to the Spider-Ham universe.
Huh.
Yeah, because in the Spider-Ham is, Peter Porker. So it's a cartoon universe where the Marvel characters are now animals. Spider-Ham is Peter Porker. Spider-Gwen is a penguin, Gwen Stacy, and Meowles Morales is Miles and is a cat. So the fact that they make that reference where he says you want to go easy on the penguin, it's also a little reference to say you want to go a little bit easier on yourself, which I'm like, holy shit, I didn't realize that until someone pointed it out to me. I'm like, dude, that's nuts. That is so nuts.
Maybe you could get off the kid's ass every once in a while.
What'd you say? Nothing. Like, I love that reference where he's like, maybe get off his ass a little bit. Huh? And of course, every time he tries to tell his parents, it's... He can't tell them because he'll jeopardize their life.
Yeah. And then when he finally does tell them, it's in the wrong...
It's the wrong universe. I actually saw a video. Someone was watching Across the Spiders. Mom, I'm Spider-Man. He's black? The whole theater just erupts in laughter. Like, you just hear everyone going, It was freaking hilarious.
Yeah. Also, I think it's worth pointing out that one scene entirely made of Legos that was animated by a 14-year-old.
Yeah, I wanted to get to that. It was so good. So freaking good. And all the different Spider-Man. And the one thing I also gotta ask about, you notice Penny Parker, the animated anime Spider-Man, Into the Spider-Verse, she was all like, very dynamic, but once you see her face, it's just like depressed. It's like, shit. They gave her the Shinji treatment. Shinji treatment being from Neon Genesis Evangelion, a great anime that a buddy of mine tried to get me into. And I tried, but I need to finish that one. I just know that by the end, everybody fucking dies. Like, everybody dies. The God's angels wipe out everybody except a man and a woman, and one of them is Shinji. But it was so depressing for the actress who plays Shinji that the final scene, to make it more authentic, she choked out her co-star that was voicing the girl.
Also, was that J.K. Simmons voicing Jameson?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I know J.K. Simmons' voice anywhere I hear it. Like, I've started rewatching Invincible, just because I'm excited about that one coming back.
We're kind of getting off topic here, but I know people have voiced some concerns about Invincible going into the multiverse routes, and I really think it's just because people are just tired of multiverse stories in general.
This is true, but he does go into the multiverse for a comic book issue, but you want to know where he ends up? Marvel Universe. With Spider-Man. And of course, when he gets back to his universe, Peter says, I'm going to help him out, webs him up by the feet so that he can tag along. Portal closes and he's like, oh, shucks. It was a case of, oh, man, because he really wanted to help out Invincible.
Honestly, I think if you're going to pair Invincible up with anybody, it should be Deadpool.
Pair him up with Deadpool? No. Can't do that. It'd be way too weird. It'd make Invincible go like, what the fuck? What the hell's wrong with this guy? Holy shit! But they do bring in multiverse in one arc, where he ends up going to the Marvel Universe, but also there are different versions of Invincible that come to his universe. And he's got to fight these things. It's like, oh, shit.
Okay, so it's pretty much like Into the Spider-Verse, but with Invincible.
Pretty much, it kind of is, but all the ones that come to his universe, they're all evil.
Okay.
So they're not good at all.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah. But I read the comics, so I was like, oh, I see what's gonna happen. Let's see what changes.
Yeah.
Because after I finished the first time, I was like, I need more.
Yeah, and like if we're talking about trailers, then I recently just watched a trailer for a new Netflix documentary. I think it's going to be a show.
Okay.
Called How to Be a Cult Leader, and this actually looks interesting.
Is it a comedy or something like that?
No.
Because it sounds. Oh wait, you said Netflix documentary.
Yeah.
So I'm like, as soon as I heard the title, "How to Be a Cult Leader," I'm thinking, this shit sounds like a freaking comedy. I will now be the cult leader of Caddyshack. Yeah. My cult name is now called Caddyshack.
Yeah.
We will watch it, we will laugh, and we will go after gophers on golf courses. And with ballistic missiles.
Yeah. But I think it's going to be all about like how cults are formed and how cult leaders manipulate people into joining them.
Yeah.
So I actually think this sounds interesting. I might actually check it out.
There you go. There you go. I think I discontinued my Netflix because I don't watch it anymore. Like it's good shows, but there were now so few on there that I watched that I just said, I might fire it up again, but right now I'm happy with my little Amazon Prime and Crunchyroll.
Yeah, I know there have been a few shows where like I'd start watching and just like I can't finish this.
Yeah. Yeah, there have been a couple shows where I'm like, I can't watch this. It's not that it's a hard material. It's just that I'm bored.
Yeah.
Like, you lost me. That's why my girlfriend's like, why do you watch some of the same stuff over and over again? It's like, because, one, I like it. I know what's going to happen. Two, it holds my interest. Like, good example, Berserk, the TV show from the 90s. I will still watch that stuff on not Netflix, pardon me, YouTube, because I found it for free. It's a fun series, and I like the source material.
Yeah. Also, I recently rewatched Spirited again because I thought, why not?
Oh, Studio Ghibli Spirited?
No, Spirited.
Oh, okay. Oh, yes. I'm sorry. I'm thinking Spirited Away.
Yeah.
Was Spirited with Ryan Reynolds and Will Ferrell.
Yeah. So I watched that movie again because I felt like it.
Honestly, that musical, they're actually making a whole bunch of other musicals now.
Yeah.
They're making a Michael Jackson musical.
Apparently there's a Back to the Future musical.
Yeah, so that's the other thing I saw with previews when I was at the theater for Sound of Freedom. I was like, there's a Back to the Future musical? How's that work? Literally, how's that work?
Yeah. I saw the Willy Wonka musical once, like the stage show.
Yeah.
It was weird, but it was like an enjoyable weird.
Okay, yeah, I did. The last musical that I saw was and one that I played in was called The Seussical, which is like Horton Hears a Who, the musical. Yeah. I was like, it's all right.
If you still had Netflix, I'd recommend you to watch Green Eggs and Ham.
Green Eggs and Ham. I read that book. It was so good.
Yeah, the animated series Green Eggs and Ham.
They made it into a series?
Yes.
What?
And it's freaking great. Who
do they got to voice, Sam?
Sam was Adam Devine.
Oh, neat.
And Guy was Michael Douglas.
Shit, Michael Douglas.
Yeah.
Damn.
And the first season has a banger theme song.
I believe it. I believe it.
Backflip is amazing.
Nice.
Um,
It's freaking great.
but yeah. So recently we rewatched. There's also that Wonka movie musical that's being made.
Yeah.
With Timothy Chalamet, and it actually looks entertaining.
Wait, he's gonna be playing Willy Wonka?
Yeah.
Chalamet?
Yeah.
I like his stuff. I'm looking forward to Dune, actually. Dune might be the next movie that I go out and see day of, just because I read the book and I liked it, and I liked the first movie, and I think it's going to be really, really nice. They actually got the guy who played Elvis from the Elvis musical. He is the bad guy in Dune 2.
I still haven't seen Elvis. I need to watch that.
I haven't either, but apparently the guy who played Elvis worked on his voice so much that he thought he was Elvis.
Yeah.
And wasn't himself.
Yeah. And
like he needed to go to therapy.
Like it took a long time for him to actually like shape the voice.
Yes. Because he wanted to get it down, and actually, wasn't he nominated for like an Academy Award for it?
I think Elvis was even nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah.
So.
I don't think it won either one, did it? No, but it's the amount of work to put into there to make yourself like Elvis. That's like, holy shit. That's awesome. Like, that's a lot of hard work. I mean, Lord knows, who was it? Heath Ledger. Like, he literally locked himself in a friggin'... He locked himself in a hotel to make sure he could play the Joker. Yeah. I'm trying to get through every Best Picture nomination, so I'll get to Elvis eventually. Yeah. I think Dark Knight Rises. The Dark Knight. Yeah, was nominated for Best Picture, wasn't it? So, yeah. Or at least it at least scored Best Supporting Actor, right? For Heath Ledger, because he got an Oscar nomination for that shit. I remember because I was paying attention that night. Yeah, and he won. Yeah, posthumously. Yeah, which shitty thing because I really liked him as Mel Gibson's son in The Patriot. Oh yeah, Patriot is great. Patriot is a phenomenally good movie. Yeah. That's another movie that I saw. I saw the first Lethal Weapon and Super Pets as well. Because I was on my way, this was like months ago. But I thought Super Pets was fun. Well, it's a Dwayne Johnson and Kevin Hart movie. It's going to be fun. Oh, that end credit scene where they're talking about anti-villains is great. Yes! It was funny because it was just Dwayne Johnson going back and forth with himself. That's all it was. I was like, shit. If you're anti a hero, then you're not a villain. Literally. Oh my gosh. So Jessica, what movies have you seen recently? Because I know he's still hanging around here. Yeah. And we're at like 48 minutes. Holy shit. Yeah. 48 minutes. Yeah. We might have to get going actually. Yeah. All right, but what should we talk about next time? Any ideas? Let's see. Do we dare go into the world of comedy? Like comedy, I realize comedy is pretty friggin' broad. Yeah. Let's see. Why don't we go with favorite comedy movie? Like, out of all comedy movies that are possible that you either have or have seen, which one's your favorite and why? And what do you like about it? That's going to be a hard one for me. It's going to be a hard one for me, too, because I love a number of comedy movies. Oh, yeah. You've seen this year Indiana Jones, Little Mermaid, Spider-Verse, and you want to see Sound of Freedom. Okay, I'm going to stress this again. Yeah. Bring tissues. You're going to cry, okay? I like to paint myself as like, I'm a hard, stoic guy. Yeah, I'm not going to show any emotion. Crying. Straight up crying in the theater. You're going to cry. Yeah. I also, I went through every direct-to-DVD Disney sequel. Ooh.
and I would say most of them range from decent to forgettable at best.
And at worst,
yeah.
But okay, I'm probably gonna have to figure out which one. Which comedy movie would be my personal favorite? Because there are a number of them.
Yeah.
There's a number of them. But ultimately, I think I've got an idea.
Okay.
I think I've got an idea what my favorite comedy movie is of all time. So, I think we should probably wrap this up because 50 minutes, holy shit.
Yeah.
Didn't realize we were talking that long about movies we've seen in trailers and series. Like, we just talked. It was awesome. All right, well, next time we're going to talk about comedy movies. When should we arrange for that? I'm actually going to be out of town Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Okay.
Because I'll be down in West Virginia with my girlfriend for her stepfather's family reunion.
Yeah.
So I'll let y'all know if I manage to sneak some whiskey in back on this side of the border, or if the cops are going to be like, woo, woo, woo.
Also, you think you'll be back by August 6th?
Back by August 6th?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Because that's our 1 year anniversary.
Yeah, I'll be back by August 6th.
Okay.
Because it's only going to be for this upcoming weekend. So
Okay.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. By Sunday evening, I should be back.
Yeah. So. Yeah. So. The weekend of. Because August 6th is a Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, we're gonna have to make sure we nail that one down like in the morning because I've got a baptism to go to that day.
Okay. We could also do it August 5th.
Yeah, I could shoot for August 5th because usually I'll be working like until like 3:30,
Okay.
4:30 at the latest.
Okay, so that'll work.
Mm-hmm. All right. But I guess that's it. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and check out our Discord.
Mm-hmm.
We will see y'all
Next time.
next time.
Right. Bye.
Bye-bye.